Hi guys, back to do another video on my latest junk journal. This one is a little bit different and it's also got a bit of background behind it. The lady that's ordered this journal, she has her own page on YouTube, and if anyone's interested I will link her YouTube page in the comments if anyone is interested. This lovely lady came to me and said that she's been working on a story for 5 years and it's still not finished yet, and she has the most amazing soothing voice. So if you want a bedtime story, go onto her page. It will soon soothe you to sleep. Anyway, there's a story behind this journal, and she came to me and she said that she was writing this story and she wanted this book to represent the lady in the story called Malaynaeh, who is once a mermaid, and she was abducted by some sort of sea culture underwater, and her family under the sea thought she was cursed, so they kind of banished her, thought she was wrong, and they just didn't want anything to do with her. So from what I can gather, there was a creature called Cthulhu, who is an octopus slash other creatures, and he made her into a human. So she stayed on Earth for, I think it was hundreds of years or maybe 100 years, and she didn't like being a human and she missed being in the sea. So she wanted to return as a mermaid, so she I think she went back to Cthulhu and asked would he turn her back into a mermaid, and he said yes, but you've got to do 7 sacrifices. So yeah, she did these 7 sacrifices and she was turned back into a mermaid, but she was sea magic with a dark streak. She became stronger and powerfuler, and she was immortal. And sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. And Cthulhu said that in 100 years, 1,000 years, there's going to be a battle, a fight with the humans, and I want you to fight with me. So she's agreed to do this. So that is a story. The whole story's not finished yet. Like I say, it's been taking some years for her to do this story, and she's still not finished it, but I was quite fascinated with how her mind worked on the story and how she came up with all this. So without going on too much, I'll jump straight into the journal. So this journal is basically Malaynaeh's journal, and she wanted me to try and think of being Malaynaeh and collecting things and putting them in the journal and things like that. So that's the story, and I hope I pronounce the names right. I've had to go on Google and learn how to pronounce Cthulhu and Malaynaeh, because like they're unusual names, so I didn't want to get it wrong in the video. So I'll jump straight in now. So thank you for listening to that, but I just wanted to tell a bit of the story because, you know, I think it's a fascinating story. So it's quite a really thick, chunky journal. I haven't made a thick journal like this for a long time. We'll start on the charm. These are all silk fabrics, and then I've just added some like netting, what reminds me of like a fisherman's rope. Just added them on, and obviously the sea colours. And then we have this green love heart, which reminded me of the love heart out of Titanic, but I just thought, you know, that the sea of the ocean for Malaynaeh, because she loves being a mermaid. And then obviously we've got a mermaid charm. And then the cover itself, I've stuck all these on individually, which were these, if you can see. And I tried making it into like, make it look like a mermaid's tail. And then I've just used some what is it, heavy structure gel to create these scales. And then I've used cheesecloth to obviously again make it look like the sea. We've got real shells, and then I've added these little diamantes on, and then this gorgeous which was part of a necklace, and then we have a key. So I'll just open it up. So as you can see, we've got an octopus charm there, and I was just trying to represent that for Cthulhu. And then this is what I made myself. Looks like a evil sea siren, and it says eternal because Malaynaeh is immortal. We do have a few more charms. We've got a seashell, a seahorse. There's quite a few charms throughout the journal, but I'll point them out as we go along. Well, started off, I just thought I'd start off with like the innocence of Malaynaeh. I like this picture because it does remind me of a mermaid, and I have used this on another journal as the front cover, and it's from Graphics Fairy. And then I've added different types of mesh and things like that. And then we have another charm, and then I've just used glossy accent. I've used this throughout the journal just to make the images stand out. And then I've used it on the mermaid, well, the ladies. Yeah. I'm not very good with words at times. And then at the top we've got a pocket, and then I've just used up leftover papers from making this journal, which have all been like sprayed and things. So up there is a pocket, and then that just goes over the top of that. Like I say, I'm starting off with like the innocence of Malaynaeh before she was abducted and stuff, so it's just, you know. And then I found this in one of my, I think it was Dragonology or Monsterology books, so I thought I'd add that in. And then just some journaling cards with mermaids on. And then I added this because in one of the stories on the lady's YouTube channel, when Malaynaeh was turned into a human, she lived by the sea in a cottage. So I just thought that was kind of appropriate to add in, something maybe she would have collected as a memorabilia of her living in the cottage. And then we just have a little flip out with just some scraps. And then throughout this journal I've added different flowers and herbs. There's quite a few in here, and they're all like the usages of what they're for and what they're used for. So obviously when Malaynaeh was on Earth, she would have collected different types of lotions and potions and different ingredients. So that's why I've added them in. And then we've got on the other side, it's kind of Cthulhu, but not. And then this is out of a vintage seaside book, and it's different types of shells. And then we've got a little pocket and a journaling card, what I've used with scraps, and then just added different fabrics, a postcard, and then a vintage stamp with a fish on. Again, probably something Malaynaeh would have collected. Malaynaeh would have collected living on Earth. I mean, on land, sorry. And again, we have another one of those different types of flowers and herbs, what make different types of potions and lotions. And then I've got a vintage encyclopedia page, which, you know, if you're living on land, she might have collected. And then this has got a, like not the sea, it's mock moons. So with it being a sea witch, a witch, you know, they would have liked the moon and things like that. And then again, we've got different types of, this is Irish moss and different elements and things like that. And then, excuse me, on some of the pages, I've kind of made like bits of a mess, so it looks like she's spilt some of her stuff on the book because she's been working on it. And these are actual real witches spells and potions. I did a video not long ago and I added these in. I found them on the web page, and it was from a book, I think it was dated from the 1600s, and it was actually out of a real witch book. And then this is actually off the lady's blog about Malaynaeh, and it's the first sacrifice. It's Malaynaeh actually writing about how she feels about the first sacrifice approaching. So I printed that off and did a wax melt. So I thought that was, added that in. And then I've used doilies, and I've done different types of sprays to give it like a shimmery look. And I just love the colours and how they've all blended together. And then we've got some evil sirens there, and the calling to the men in the boat ready to pounce and kill them. And then we've got like a sample, which is ashes from the nest of a phoenix, a specimen. And then another page, and I've backed it onto some tea dyed paper, and it's just different types of plants to use in different types of spells and things like that. And I have a little envelope, and I've just got just a scrap piece of paper in there. part of a spell, backed onto some paper which I sprayed different types of inks on, and then just a postcard. And then this is a glassine bag, and there's some bits in there what I didn't use in the journal, so I've just added them in there, so if the lady wants to use them she can do. And this just flips out, and I just like made like a map, and then there's some room there to journal on. And if I move further down, there's some more room to journal on there. And then we just have a little pull out with again some different types of flowers, and another postcard. Stick that down a bit. And this is the other side of the octopus, and again I've done like, I actually used one of these bottles and put ink on the bottom and like stamping it around so it looks like she's been resting her potions and stuff on the page. And then we've got like a letter what I just stuck in, and then we've got different moon phases and meanings, and then a vintage cigarette card with the planets. And that's the first signature, this is the second. And plenty of journaling spaces for the lady to add her own stuff. And then this is like an envelope that I've made, and it can be quite a wide envelope what I've made. And then these are just different types of moon magic spells which I've just added in. And then these are the tells you when there's full moons this year. And got them off the internet. Had to do a lot of looking around and research. And then we've got a lovely mermaid, and I've embossed that. I've got sorry silk, and I've made it into like a ruffle. And then I found this old newspaper article, and I just thought it was quite fitting. Obviously Malaynaeh could have picked that up on her travels, and just wanted to add that into her journal. And then got a bit of shimmer, and this is like a large pocket. Water spell mermaid, and then in this journal throughout I've added these images. The lady that's ordered this journal off me, she apparently she has some of these images in her house, and an artist who she's bought them off has made some of these images for her, so I've added a few of these in. And I do apologise, I've forgot the artist's name, and I should have remembered because obviously this is his work and I've just printed that off. So I have added a few of them in the journal. And then in the centre, well no, not centre, I made a map to make it look old, like a pirate's map. And then just added some old, this was out of a vintage board game, just pretend money. And then another letter. seahorse jar. This lighting is really poor. And then we have another flower, and I've backed it with tea-dye paper and just a card which is vintage with a flower on. I like this picture. I printed that on vellum. And then we have another flower with what it's used for. And I've got another journaling card what I've made out of scraps, and an envelope what I've made. And there's nothing in it, so the lady can put her own bits in there, because I know this journal is quite packed with stuff. And then we have an anchor charm, and then this is the centre of the second signature, and in the centre I've added like a mini journal. If I can get into it. So the inside of this is like, you could say like a book to write your ingredients down of spells, of what you've used. So before we get in, got more journaling cards, and then pages, and then we've got spell name and purpose, so write the ingredients and what spell you're making and what it's for. So it's kind of like the spells that you've tried, and you can write them down. So that is the centre of the second signature. And then we just have some mermaid images, and then a little flip out that can be journaled on. And then some more journaling cards, and again this is another image, what I was just saying about the artist who's done some of these pictures for the lady. Very interesting. And then a vintage music paper, which was about the drunken sailor, so I thought it was quite fitting for this journal, with it being sea and stuff. And then another plant, and then another telling about different names of plants and herbs and things and elements. Again, more journaling cards. And then we have a journaling spot here, and then you can stick things under there. And then this is one of my favourites what I made. I used some sorry silk, and I had some beads and embossed my mermaid stamp, and it's just again another little miniature journal, and I've just used up different types of scraps. I just love the beads on that. It just tucks in there. Element of water. another journaling card what I've made there, and then just some more journaling cards, and then we have another type of plant and what its purpose is for and what you can use it for in certain spells and what it cures. And then we have like a letter from Pirate, and it's just got some paper in there that can be obviously journaled on. And then that's the end of the second signature. And this is the last one, the third one, and I've kind of tried to make it a little bit more darker as we're going through the journal and trying to make it all light and then dark in the central, and then as we get to the end it starts to go dark as Malaynaeh is turned into a powerful sea witch. I've got a little envelope and it's empty with a wax melt on, and this is, if you take the wax melt off and undo the string, it opens up into a big piece of A4 to be journaled on, like a letter. And then I've just used some of this like fishing net stuff, and then at the bottom I've put "she was herself again," and it made me think of Malaynaeh when she was turned into a human and then she wanted to be back as a mermaid again, and then when she's turned into a mermaid she was herself again. So I thought that was quite fitting when she was turned. And the page is like getting darker. A potion bottle, and then again another, this is about different types of crystals, and then we just got like a seabird, which I think Malaynaeh would have collected while living on land. And then we have some more of this fabric and another journaling card with some different types of journaling bits and pieces. Really the light in this room is absolutely rubbish, so I do apologise. You can't see how gorgeous the colours are. I do apologise. Oh dear. And then again we have more journaling cards, and we have up there at the top is Cthulhu, and we have this big charm of Cthulhu. And then I've just used some of this leftover getting quite fiddly now. And then we've got another real spell from the witches from the 1600s and a real vintage stamp, and then a protection spell, and then this is just like some ruffled paper what I've used that can be journaled on. And then we have another specimen, which is skin from tail of a sea serpent. And then I've got an old vintage like boat, what I added in, ship, boat. And there. And then in the central, an envelope, and I've just added that in there. And then this, it just pulls out like that, you can see, and you can journal on it, and then it just closes like that. Again, this is another image of the artist's work. And just like a little flip up, journal underneath it. And then I've got another specimen, which is an actual real plant, which I've dried and then stuck it in this clear plastic seal. I love this image, it's one of my favourites. The mermaid, and I've added different planets on it. And there's another one of those envelopes, what you can unfold. And then this is another one of those, and it's about a moonstone. And then on the other side, this is a big flip out, and it's the map of the world, which is one of my favourites as well as. And this book is getting really heavy now to hold. And then that is the end of the journal. And I do apologise for the lighting, it's absolutely rubbish. So I hope the lady loves it as much as I've enjoyed all the research and things like that. It's been an absolute pleasure making it, and it's always nice to try and go off a story in your head. So yes, thank you for asking me to make it, and again, if anyone is interested in this story and would like to follow this lady, just let me know and I will put the link in the comments. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.